Am I the asshole for going no contact with my parents after learning they had lied to me about my allergies all my life? Hey everyone, I'm 19 years old and my parents are in their 50s. For as long as I can remember, I've been allergic to several things: dairy, wheat, flour, gluten, legumes. Since I was a young child, my parents have completely kept all of them out of our house. While other kids ate breakfast cereals, I ate fish and assorted pickled vegetables for breakfast. While other kids had Lunchables, I had grilled chicken or fish with, again, assorted vegetables, usually sweet potatoes. While other kids ate birthday cake at the birthday party, I had an apple. I never questioned this until a couple of months ago. I was at my aunt's house for my birthday party and she made brownies for everyone. For me, she took great steps to make them with almond flour and avoided all of my allergies. I started eating them and thought little of it until my aunt suddenly looked at me and, in a panicked way, asked which plate I took the brownies from. I pointed from the one where I got my brownies, and she immediately stood up and told me we had to get my EpiPen. She raced to ask my mother for it, and I sat there scared out of my mind because I had never mistakenly eaten flour before. I noticed my mother had calmed her down, and then she said that we don't need to worry because she had switched the plates of brownies, and after all, I had eaten the ones made with almond flour. I found this incredibly odd because, really, why would she swap the plates? That doesn't even make sense. But for the time being, I let the issue rest. It didn't sit well with me for about a week, and I finally went to get an allergy test. The doctor started with a skin prick test, and lo and behold, I didn't react to any of the above substances. Then he ordered a blood test, and when the results came in, they said that I had absolutely no intolerance to any of the foods I'm supposed to be allergic to. I was furious and called my mother. She eventually admitted that she lied to me because she wanted me to be on a Paleolithic diet and wanted me to be able to avoid all temptations. She raised me with a lie about her own health, but she keeps insisting that I try to see it from her perspective. She spams my phone with messages about how healthy I am, that I never had acne, that I have been in great shape my whole life, that I have strong teeth and bones, and even that I got onto a D1 college tennis team. She has started calling me ungrateful for her intervention and insisting that I really should be glad I never got, quote, carb addicted. I don't know what to think. I carried around an EpiPen for all those years, one that I suspect may be fake, seeing as my mother never got me to replace it, and I don't even know anymore. Am I the asshole and ungrateful for losing it over this?
Am I the asshole for pretending not to recognize my parents when they tried to reconnect? I was raised mostly by my uncle and aunt. My older sister developed a serious illness when I was 6, and my parents decided that they couldn't care for both of us, I guess. So they kind of unceremoniously dumped me at my grandparents, and my uncle took me in. Like, didn't even explain to me what was going on. Just, you're going to go visit Gran for a while, air quotes.
What the fuck?
And never picked me back up.
Okay.
My grandparents and uncle explained it later, and they were pretty livid at my parents. I've seen my parents maybe 5 times since then, and not at all for the last 9 years. I decided to stop having contact with them when I was 12, and since I was the only one reaching out, all communication broke down. It turned out okay. I love my aunt and uncle, and it turns out they can't have kids, so they've always said I'm their miracle kid. I was just misrouted by the stork at first. I was formally adopted by them when I turned 18. I wish it had been earlier, but there were some red tape things that would have made that really expensive and difficult. I'm 21 now. My sister passed away between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I made a trip back from school for the funeral, but I stayed in the back and left before my bio parents could talk to me. They called my uncle and tried to talk to me, but I said I didn't want to, so he told them that I wasn't available at the moment. They finally caught up to me over Christmas when I went to midnight mass with my gran and approached me and tried to give me a hug. I did recognize them, but I pretended not to and just backed off and said, "Sorry, do I know you?" They said, "We're your parents." And I said, "My parents are at home," and went and sat down with my gran. They sat behind us and I could just feel the stare. And on the way out, they were like, "You really don't recognize us?" And I said, "Oh, are you my dad's brother? I think I remember you from when I was little." My gran thinks they deserve it.
Yes.
Trying to come back to my life like nothing happened. But they wrote me a long letter about how hurt they are and how I should understand that they were trying to do the right thing and how they will always be my parents and I can't change that. Other family members think I was too harsh as they're grieving, but I don't think they should get a pass just because they remembered me now that my sister is gone.
Am I the asshole for walking out of a restaurant on my girlfriend? Girlfriend and I were having dinner at a restaurant when she got a text from her best friend who recently gave birth, and she said, "Oh my God, she got a C-section." She works as a nurse, so she then explained to me the type of incision they make for that and how it'll leave a scar. I then, as a joke, said, quote, "At least she'll still be tight down there." My girlfriend looked confused and then said that was a weird comment to make about her friend. I then said it is a very normal joke to make, and she disagreed. Long story short, there was some back and forth. I asked her to drop it, and she kept trying to talk to me about it. I said to her, quote, "You're so insecure." And then she goes, quote, "Does it make you feel good to call me that?" So then I got really frustrated, got up, and walked out of the restaurant and drove home. She called me several times. I drove both of us there, but I was so frustrated and just wanted to get home, so I turned my phone off. She showed up at our apartment 30 minutes later and was really pissed, called me an asshole and overreacted, and that she waited in the cold for 20 minutes for an Uber. Am I the asshole for walking out on her and leaving her there for being frustrated?
Am I wrong for removing my daughter's bedroom door because she won't stop slamming it? I, 40 female, have 3 kids. Maggie, 14 female, Levi, 12 male, and Charlie, 10 male. Levi and Charlie share a bedroom, and Maggie has her own room as the oldest and also only girl. Maggie is a great kid. She does her homework, helps with chores without too much complaint, doesn't bug her little brothers too much. The issue is that she will not stop slamming her bedroom door. When she gets up to use the bathroom at night, she slams her bedroom door on her way out and back in. When she gets up in the morning or goes to bed at night, she slams it. Pretty much anytime she enters or exits her room, the door gets slammed. And it's only her door, none of the other doors in the house. It shakes the walls and frequently wakes up everyone else in the house. Her brother's room shares a wall with hers, and our bedroom is directly above theirs. We've talked to her about it and asked her very politely to please be more mindful about it because it is disturbing the rest of us, but it's in one ear and out the other. We try being more forceful about it, saying that if she continues to slam her door, there will start to be consequences. Still, nothing changes. It all came to a head the other night when she got up to use the bathroom and all 4 of us were woken up by the slamming. I have to be awake at 5 a.m. for work, and I've had enough of the broken sleep and came downstairs and knocked on her door. She opened it and said, "What?" with such an attitude, and it took a lot of self-control to not start yelling. I told her as calmly as I could that if she slammed the door one more time, she was going to come home and find it gone. She proceeded to yell at me to leave her alone and then slammed it 5 times as hard as she could. Well, the next day, Friday, she went to school and my husband and I both had the day off, so we took the door off the frame and installed a curtain rod with nice heavy curtain over the door instead. She came home and freaked the fuck out. She said we were being emotionally abusive and taking away her right to privacy. She sulked all weekend and won't talk to us now. My mother says I'm the asshole because I overreacted, but she doesn't have to deal with the house shaking. I want to add that we completely respect each other's privacy in our house, which is why we hung up a heavy curtain and made sure that we couldn't see through it or around it. We even put little Velcro pieces on the walls and curtain sides so it stays in place. She still has her physical privacy, which she is absolutely entitled to, but can't slam a piece of fabric. We also have never and still don't just go into her room unannounced and still knock on the wall to ask permission to enter. We've told her we'll happily put her door back on once she agrees to respect the no slamming rule. So, am I the asshole? Am I wrong for letting my friends surprise propose to each other? I, 24 male, have a group of friends, and there is a couple in the group. We have all been friends since high school and kept in touch through college, so we're all still quite close. Recently, the boyfriend in the couple, 24 male, announced that he was planning to propose to his girlfriend, 25 female. Of course, we were all incredibly supportive and excited as we had watched the relationship grow from the start. However, 2 weeks later, the girlfriend told us she was going to propose to him. When we heard, we discussed, without them present of course, and decided to let them surprise each other as we thought we'd just get a sweet story to tell at the wedding. After a month of planning and nudging the two in the right direction, both decided to propose to the other by the lake at a nearby nature reserve where they shared their first kiss. They had me and another friend watch from a distance to capture photos of the moment the proposal happened. This is where things go wrong. The moment the girlfriend pulled out the ring before the boyfriend could, he went very quiet. My friend and I were watching in anticipation, thinking he was maybe just stunned. Suddenly, he turned bright red and started screaming, full-on yelling and shouting. The girlfriend dropped the ring in shock and he snatched it and threw it into the lake. He went on and on about how it was his duty as a man to propose first, and how could she do this to him. He said a few other sexist things that I'm not going to repeat for the sake of my friend. We always knew he was a bit traditional in a sense, as his father is a businessman while his mother is a stay-at-home mom, and he was raised on slightly more old-fashioned values. Man equals big job and woman equals housewife. But through the whole relationship, he was very respectful and gentlemanly. So you can imagine how shocked all of us were. The boyfriend saw us and screamed at us too, saying we betrayed his trust and that we as men should know that a woman shouldn't be the one to propose. We didn't know what to say, and he threw his own ring box to the ground and stormed off. Later that day, my friend and I got publicly called out on social media by him. He called us traitors, and he left any group chats and servers we were all in together. My friends are mostly taking our side, but I'm honestly still shocked, and we have been through thick and thin together and never would have imagined this happening.